So far, we looked at how to create an outpost and how to exploit it, but we did not talk about how to play against an outpost. The most usual way to counter an enemy outpost is to cover it with as many pieces as possible, so that when he occupies it with a piece, you can capture enough time to force him eventually to recapture with a pawn. For example, white has an outpost on e5, but if he plays knight e5, then takes, and white has to recapture with a pawn and lose the outpost. So obviously, he needs more pieces to cover e5 outpost. For example, bishop g5 followed by bishop h4 and bishop g3. If it is black to move, he would play h6 to prevent it, but more active solution is queen e8, because after bishop g5, queen h5, threatening rook f3, removing the defender of the bishop and also removing the defender of h2 square. Other than queen e8, black can play queen b6, put more pressure on these pawns. Obviously, black cannot play bishop g5 because b2 is hanging. If you cannot cover the outpost, then extremely active harassing tactics are needed. White has a d5 outpost, but his knight is not yet occupying it, so black has some time to cover the outpost. Once the knight reaches d5, black is lost. So rook a4, not allowing knight to start the journey to d5, because after knight d2, rook d4. That's why c3, and now queen a6. And not rook f to a8 because of queen takes a8. So queen a6, h3. Wasting time trying to remove non-existent back rank threats. Better was rook a to d1, threatening knight c1, knight d3 and knight b4. After h3, we have rook c8, rook f to e1, h6, and now king h2. White is playing without a plan. He maybe wanted to play rook takes, knight c1, but a3, and black is breaking through on the queen side. After king h2, bishop g5, g3, queen a7, trying to go in, king g2, and now rook a2 with a double threat. First one is rook takes b2, and the second one is rook takes c3. After king f1 and rook c3, white resigned. Obviously after takes, it's a mate. And if takes, rook f3, king e2, rook f2, king d1, and queen takes rook, and white's position is hopeless. The poor knight never even moved. The lesson is, having an outpost is not everything. You have to be in position to use it.